Yo, everybody, what is going on? It is Roush, and we are continuing our wrap up of PSR League Season 3, end of the regular season. Today, I have with me the coach of the HaZe clan. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, I am Vegan Ninja. I have coached HaZe clan.
Nice. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at your team first and foremost. So you had Superior, Gliscor, Kyurem, Normal, Registeel, Diancie, Regular, Rabombi, Megazard Y, Toxapex, Alakazam, Blissey, and Hoopa. During the season, you had drafted Togekiss and Mienshao, but you traded them away fairly early on. Why did you do that?
Because I realized very quickly, well, Mienshao was from the start, from the get-go, a measure because I noticed one of the other teams in my division was very weak to fighting, but then they immediately fixed that problem, like week 2 or 3, or actually no, even before that, like literally right after the draft.
It was more or less week 1.
Yeah. Which meant I really didn't have a reason to have those Pokemon anymore. So that was that.
Alright, so what about, so the roster that you did have, so what you did draft, why did you, you kind of went with a very big stall element, but then when it came to your
Very
sweepers,
yeah,
when it came to your sweepers, a majority of them are better as special attackers. Was there any reason behind doing that, or is that kind of just how it ended up?
Well, part of it was just how it ended up for sure. Because obviously in draft you can't really always control what exactly gets to you, so Superior was one of the better tier 1s that were left when I came around to draft my tier 1, so on. Charizard, for the same reason, it was just one of the best megas that were left when it was my turn, and I wanted to grab a mega. So I put a lot of heavy priority on getting a sturdy defensive core. So Gliscor, Toxapex were my first 2 picks, and then Registeel came later on. I probably should have drafted it before that, but
Yeah, I feel like Registeel was kind
wasn't
of
even too
an
late.
odd...
It was like my second round, but or my fourth. Yeah,
Fifth.
like
It was
I was
fifth.
at the end of the order, so it was my 4th round technically, I think.
I believe it was your 5th.
Basically, like Registeel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
yeah.
actually,
no,
it was
I totally
further
should have
down,
drafted
6th
it
round.
first.
How about 6th round?
Or earlier rather. Whatever.
But yeah. Okay. So, in terms of Pokemon using this season, what was the most fun for you out of this list? Not talking the
either
individual
way.
set, but what Mons did you enjoy using?
Well, Gliscor, Toxapex, all of the bulky boys.
Okay.
Blissey, I am so happy with picking up Blissey mid-season. Blissey is such a godsend of a Pokemon.
Yeah.
So nice to just have a blanket check to everything special ever. It's great.
Except name Sylveon, but we're not talking about that right now.
Well, okay, yeah, no, let's not. 3 games that form where I lost 4 games out of 5. That one was not my proudest streak.
No, but I mean, if you look at them, all but Battle Dolphin were outside of your division, so you did really well within the division. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but we're going to go ahead and talk about your set of choice, your favorite set on the season. You listed as this Diancie from actually last week. So, leftovers with Rest, Psych Up, Moonblast, and Power Gem. Why is the spread the way it is? And what exactly was it going to do?
This Diancie is really simple. What I needed to do is I had 5 other Pokemon which I didn't want to cut out for various reasons. And then I had 1 last slot which I wanted to check both Raikou and Talonflame. And I could have gone Blissey and switched sets around for a Talonflame check, But Bleach against Calm Mind Raikou can get dirty if the Raikou has rest, or it's not as safe because setuppers can muscle through Bleachy. So I just wanted something that could answer reliably any Calm Mind Raikou, and then it had the added benefit of being sturdier against Talonflame if needed. He ended up bringing both Calm Mind Raikou and Talonflame, so.
So, alright, I guess my question on in regards to that is, why Power Gem instead of Diamond Storm? If you're going for something that will hit Talonflame, you could psych up a Swords Dance and then get really powerful Diamond Storms.
Well, the issue is I don't really need the power. I just needed. It's basically a Stone Edge versus Rock Slide type of situation where I'll just take the more accurate move. Because the only time I was really ever clicking Power Gem was in a direct 1v1 against Talonflame.
Okay.
Which would have been a 1-8 ping Akko, so it was literally not even a consideration. I just took the move that could screw me over
the least.
The least. And also it allowed me to run minus attack nature if I had both special moves, but that's a minor thing.
That's true. Yeah, without suffering a drop in speed. Okay,
yeah,
so let's go ahead.
I remember if dropping speed would have actually mattered, but
I off the top of my head, I can't think of either. But let's go ahead and talk about the match that it was in. That is wrong as heck. Let's fix
those
this
banners don't seem right.
All right. HaZe Clan versus Blackpool Blastoise. Okay, that looks better. So right off the bat, you lead with the Registeel as he leads with the Clefable. Both of you decide to set rocks turn 1. Then he immediately goes out into this Raikou. So walk me through your thought process from here as you went for the Thunder Wave on the switch.
So I was hoping to land a Thunder Wave on Clefable or on literally anything else, but okay, he sent Raikou, that's fine. I have to go Diancie immediately because this again is a really big threat to my Gliscor, to my Toxapex, to my everything. So I really have to immediately switch to Diancie. And then what I can do here, I think I try to break the sub first before revealing Psych Up. I think I Moonblast first, right?
Yeah, you ended up Moonblasting first, and I guess that was kind of the reason why I thought, oh, maybe you would want to have Diamond Storm because Raikou is...
Oh, yeah, I suppose that was actually... I suppose that's a good point. Diamond Storm break Raikou, so... But either way, I Moonblasted first to make him go for a second Calm Mind, because that's like a safe play at the point from behind a safe sub. So I bait him into a second Calm Mind, and then I Psych Up on that turn. And then from there, Raikou kinda has to switch out, because I have rest and he doesn't. Well, he could stay until forces my rest, but yeah. He has Clefable, which was unaware. I knew like 100% that he was going to have an unaware Clefable, because the first time we played, he got swept by a Leaf Storm Superior very quickly.
And I believe, alright, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was like the second time that he brought non-Magic Guard Clef for the entire season. So that was honestly
that's possible.
Something like that.
I don't know.
Like he
I
hates...
didn't scout all of his games, but yeah. I knew he was going to bring it like 100%. There was no way he wasn't going to bring it.
But as you can see, it really just pressured the Raikou. So that set was really good for you. And honestly,
it basically made it pointless for him to ever go Raikou, because if he ever went to that Pokemon, I could just neutralize it entirely, and he had to go back to Clefable or do something weird, because obviously he was going to lose the 1v1. I suppose he could have just stayed in and tried to crit it, but he didn't have many chances before eventually my Moonblast would have killed him, because he was sub Calm Mind and then Thunderbolt HP Ice, so no recovery at set of leftovers.
Yep.
So it means that he wouldn't be able to go on and try to fish for a crit for too long, because obviously the damage was stuck up. So that INC really stopped the only threat he had on me, and from there I took it calm and controlled. Between Toxapex, Gliscor, and Registeel, I pretty much drove the game home. I don't remember if I even had to use Serperior or Charizard all that much.
I can't remember off the top of my head either.
I'm pretty sure Serperior did it the field, but it was like minor guest appearance.
So
yeah.
Let's go ahead and we'll take a look at the playoff bracket here. So as of now, you are the second seed in your division, which means your first round matchup is currently against the Murkrow Manor and Yagamirai, but you're also stuck in the same side of the bracket as FN Crazy and the Jacksonville Jumbo Clawitsers. So what do you think about, and we'll just pretend like this is what the actual playoff bracket is going to be, because not everything's set in stone yet. How do you think you'll be able to take care of your side of the bracket?
Well, okay, so the Murkrow Manor was a clean 6-0 the first time we played, the only time we played, so I'm not super concerned, like I'm feeling confident, obviously with all due respect to him.
Her.
I can't not feel good about my chances after that first game. Mike Ayuram, he didn't have the slightest answer to it, and I don't think he has one in his entire draft. So. Oh, whoops. Sorry, my bad.
And then, so after that, then you would face either Gino or FN Crazy. So
yeah, I think.
What kinds of things would you?
FN?
So you would rather face FN than Gino?
I'm not sure. I think I haven't looked at the direct matchups. I haven't either yet.
Okay.
But I think Gino has a very passive team. Which I can kind of outstall because I am very good at outstalling.
You must not be looking at the same team that I'm looking at, because I'm staring at a Zard X and a Hoopa Unbound.
No, I'm talking about Gino.
Oh.
The Celesteela.
Yeah, that's a very
passive
team.
Thinking.
Mew Steela, Mega Altaria. It's very passive.
He has potential to wreck me with like Z Genesis Supernova or whatever on the Mew. There's like a lot of things that you can pull. Both of them
Alright,
are very
I'm
scary
gonna
opponents.
rip the band-aid off right now. We actually banned Genesis Supernova.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah. No,
well, still, Mew can run,
I'm not
like,
sure if I
every
actually
move.
put it on the rules page, but we were talking about it at the beginning of the season and we banned it.
Like, Mew can do so much stuff to shut down anything, and especially passive things can like really vulnerable to either like 3 attacks or Will-O-Wisp, taunt type of things. Mew can do a lot of things. Like he definitely has the tools to scare me. And Mega Altaria is always a nightmare for defensive teams. It's a fairly innocuous Mega as long as you can pressure it, but my team tends to soak up pressure rather than apply it.
Okay.
So it's dangerous.
So the next question I'm going to ask regarding the bracket before we move on to your report card. But if not you, who do you think will win this playoffs?
It's really tough. I think okay, hands down, like easily by far, Battle Dolphin is the best player of Pokemon in this tournament, in my opinion.
Yep. I actually wrote down a list. I wrote down a list not too long ago, actually. It was last night, and Dolphin was at the top of my list of best battlers in the league.
Yep, he's just really insanely good at actually playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
His draft, obviously, he drafted random Pokemon. He has a Mega Glalie. He has some troubles in his team structure, but he's been able to make it work. So he's a candidate. If he had a serious team composition, he'd be hands down, like no question, my favorite.
I think that's the general consensus too, is that he is the best overall battler. But he had some holes in team building, but we already addressed that with his little wrap up. So actually, before I reveal my grades for you, let's talk some nicknames, huh?
Oh,
Go
yeah, those
through
are
each
all
of your
songs I
mons
like.
and tell me why they're nicknamed what they are.
Okay, so these are literally all songs
Okay.
by various artists, mostly EDM, some drum and bass. Actually, no, mostly drum and bass and some EDM, I guess. Either way, yeah, I can give you a song list if you want to put it in the description or something. There's not much meaning to them other than I looked at songs I liked and just
Okay.
put them on there.
So like the one that cracks me up the most is what song did Waffle House Rabombi come from?
Oh, Waffle House is an incredible song. I'm really happy to talk about that one.
Yeah,
it
go
has
ahead.
a great music video too. It's very dirty dubstep type of thing, like very much party music.
Okay.
It's just I'm not much of a party guy myself. Like I don't really go out. Period.
So
But I
it's
enjoy
just
that
like
type
a
of music lot.
manifestation of you.
I enjoy that type of music a lot. I enjoy like heavy, very like loud things in my music. And Waffle House, really go watch the music video after this. It's incredible. It's great.
All right. So all right, now
yeah.
time for the grades. So my team analysis. This is reading off of my notes. So we're gonna start off with the team building part. So normally, like you said, you like building super bulky, kind of stall-ish. So you did tend to build that way a lot around Toxic Spikes and especially Toxapex and Charizard as like, I mean, yeah, Gliscor was brought more than Pex, but when you brought Pex, it was normally the centerpiece of your team. You would bring one, if not two, sweeper types / wall breakers to every match just in case you were matched up against other stall. Charizard, Y, and Kyurem were mainly used for those purposes. But then once you made the trade for Alakazam, that really opened the door for you because you had that more reliable revenge killing
killer?
option.
Yes.
And because of that, you tend to bring Focus Sash. So the main problem with your team building is it's not difficult to figure out what battle style you are going to do on any typical week. So the only thing that was left to figure out was exactly which mons we're bringing or being brought, and you could usually get enough coverage moves on top of mons that would kind of expose those weaknesses. So for that, I'm gonna give you a B for team building. Kind of close to B+, but just because of the predictability, I think in playoffs that might end up working against you, just not having that unpredictability factor.
That's a fair point.
So in terms of match execution,
With
you did have the
living-
second most 6-0s on the season. You had 2 of them,
I did.
and then you
I
had
had
the most
the
5-0s. So
Yep, I had the most combined 5 and 6-0s.
you went almost undefeated against your division, which meant that you did really well against rematches. You didn't lose a single rematch, which was fantastic. But your losses tended to be lopsided. That's more or less a
Well, in
stall.
my losses,
That's more of
I
a
have to
stall type
say-
problem. So
Yep.
when you build stall, normally it's when one pillar falls, everything starts coming apart. So in terms of battles, it was kind of a mixed bag. For the most part, you played extremely well, and I love how you always did your best to keep that Alakazam out of being revenge killed itself. So because of that, I think your match execution was really good, and I'm giving you a B+ in that aspect. That is not the right one. That is the right one.
Yeah.
So a B+ in terms of match execution, just because you did fantastic when it came to the team itself. You played the teams the way that you made them, and just because stall does have those kind of glaring issues, it's harder in a ladder type situation to build stall, but in terms of draft, it's a lot easier to figure out.
It's a thing where I either played A+ or I played C. there was no midway with me.
Yep, and that's why I
a
think
lot
a
of my
B+ is
losses,
good.
I just made a key mistake at some point, and if you can't make that mistake when you're playing defensive, because one of your defensive Pokemon dies, and then you're done. Your team falls apart. So you just can't make big mistakes, and in some weeks I made them, in some weeks I didn't. So that's a fair rating.
And in terms of the number one thing that I like about your team is top to bottom, like you had some of the best balance, especially in terms of MVPs. Like if you look at the list, Diancie didn't get a non-passive kill, Registeel didn't get a non-passive kill, but everything else was middling. That means the entire team contributed, and you weren't always focused on one mon. And even having that kind of diversity in team building, even though the sets are going to be played similarly, but the fact that you're not afraid to bring anything in any type of situation is really going to help you in terms of playoffs. And overall, I think I'm going to give you a B+, because your unpredictability, even though the team type is predictable, but the just the versatility that you can have even within that predictability is very good. I think you're going to have a decent playoffs. I think even though you have, in my opinion, the hardest bracket to run through in terms of the playoff race, I still think you've got a good shot at making it to the semis, if not the finals. So thank you so much for joining me, Ninja. I really like your team. I wish you the best of luck in playoffs.
Thank you. Can I point out one thing very quick before we end it? Toxapex has the most passive kills out of anything in this tournament by like 3 or 4 extra. He's at 7, and I think the next closest is at 3 passive kills. I just really like that.
Let me look at that. Let's see. Celesteela has 3. Skarmory has 3.
Yep. Toxapex has 7.
Jellicent and Ninetales Alolan have 3. Yeah, that's a fair statement.
that's I just love that.
That's like toxic spikes. Like they're all toxic.
Yeah. Or that one time Arcanine killed itself clicking Flare Blitz on me. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for watching.
All right.
See you.
All right, bye everybody.